I heard that you're ready to create these viral backdrops with this kind of checkered pattern with various designs embedded into it. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that in 5 minutes or less with this easy Photoshop template. I want to start by changing out the main mascot here. So I'm going to right click and find the tile number 5 here. And all we have to do is just double click on it. And I'm going to change it out to this logo here. Bring down that size just a little bit. Now, whenever I change that size, it may or may not be in the center. So I will do Control A and go ahead and center it with my alignment tools at the top here. I'm going to turn off the previous logo, do Control S to save and Control W to close out of the window. Then from here, I'm going to go ahead and use my color picker tool to pick my primary color, which is the green, and my secondary color, which is the orange. So anywhere that I see color 1 and color 2, I can go ahead and double click those, duplicate that layer, change out that swatch from red. I'm just going to click on the green here, turn off the previous swatch. I'll do Control S to save, Control W to close out of the window. And then let's go ahead and change color number 2 as well. Duplicate the layer, choose the orange color, and turn off the previous layer. Now, next what I want to do is change out the text here where it says the Vikings. I can right click there. That is my tile number 3. Let's go ahead and double click there. I already have my text with my tail here, but you also have the option to just have the regular text. I'm going to go with the text with the tail here, and I'm just going to double click on the T where it says Vikings with that little dash at the bottom. I'm only going to select the text and I'm going to leave that dash at the end because that's where my little swash is coming from. And I'm going to put us things, but not caps lock. All right. And then the reason why I separate these is so that I can make my first letter kind of like story case. So if you've ever seen storybooks, they usually will start off with an initial or the first letter being larger than the other text. And I kind of like that concept. Now what I'm going to do is just resize the rest of my text so that it works with my first layer here. And because Mustangs is wider than the previous word, I'm going to go ahead and do a little adjusting here for my size. And then here I want my M to look like it's melting into this text here. And once I have it all together, it looks good. I'm going to go ahead and select the group here, do Control A, and then center it in the middle. I can save that and close out. And notice that although it was black, it automatically recolored here. And then what I'm going to do, I feel like it's a little too close to the edge there. I'm just going to hold down Shift and squish it in just a little bit, just so that it's not too close to the edge. All right, perfect. And then here on the 8th tile, so I'm going to go to number 8, double click, and this is a text as well. So for this one, I'm going to duplicate the layer where it says Rains, and I'm going to put this school's name, which is Mandarin. However, notice that the text is too wide, so I'm going to hold down Shift, and then squish it in. And I want to leave myself about the same margin on the sides that I have on the top and bottom. Once I do that, if I want to ensure that I'm still in the center, I can do Control A to select all and center it here. And I'm going to go ahead and clear these guides here because they're a little distracting. Control S and then Control W. And then what I'm going to do for the tile here, this is tile number 1. I'm just going to double click on that one And for this one, just to let you know, you have an option to pull anything you want into any of these layers. These are just suggestions. What I'm going to do for this layer is go ahead and pull in my mascot. This is from AI class number 87, where we created mascots for the schools. And I just want to make sure that my mascot's going to pretty much fill in this space here. And this way, if I want to have just the logo there, I can. If I want to have the entire mascot there, I can do that as well. Let's save it and close out of the window. All right, now the reason why it colors it all green is because before I had it coloring that little check there, but now I'm going to turn off that color that's clipped to this layer, and just turn the eyeball off for now. All right, this school is still in Florida, but I feel like I have a little too much green here, so I'm going to go to this one, and instead I want to use my orange color. So I just borrowed it from up here, Alt-clicked and dragged it down so I got a copy. And then that way it colors the state orange instead of the green. That way I get a little bit of mixing of the primary and secondary color. And let's go ahead and for this area, this is our tile number 7. We used our AI 87 image. So if you're not familiar, we have classes for AI every week and we have classes for Photoshop every week. So each week we are developing new images and also developing new techniques in Photoshop. So if you are not in our live classes, and our live classes are typically you sharing your Photoshop screen so that you get live help, definitely consider that because it has been a game changer for the success that people have had in Photoshop. Same thing with AI. Come to live class, develop images in real time. If you get stuck in the mud, then you can get real live help. All right, so with this one, I'm just going to go ahead and group these. And that's my Viking skull. Now here, what I'm going to do is pull together a couple of images here. I'll do my 26. This is from our template number 318, where we did the racing theme. And I'll just do a little class of 26. Do that kind of as a composite image. And then I'll drop a little version of the logo. And I can take all of this, and as long as I group it, so I'm tapping on the first layer, holding down Shift, grab that last layer, doing Control G, and I'm going to put that as class of 26 Mustangs. Then this way, when I have the group selected, if I do Control A, I'm going to center it down the middle, horizontal, and center it down the middle, vertical. Beautiful. Let's Control S, Control W to save and close out of the window. All right. Now for the pattern here, we did a class number 321 and I showed you all how to make a custom pattern. So I'm not going to be showing you how to make a custom pattern. You can refer to class number 321 for that. But I will show you how you can switch this pattern out. Just double click on it. And if you remember from 321, I showed you how to save your patterns. And there you are. That's a quick change out there. And I should have done a save as from the beginning so I can have my red grad version, and this is going to be my green grad version. And this is something I don't typically do, but I'm going to add as a bonus for this tutorial. What I'm going to do is vectorize the logo, because sometimes your logo that you're given by the school or organization or business is not very high resolution. So I'll show you a process that I use for that. I use vectorizer.io, and I'm going to go ahead and upload the image here. And I'll turn the view large icons on. I'm going to go ahead and upload the logo here. And it should automatically pick out the number of colors that it believes that will fulfill this. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make some changes here. So right now it's telling me this is composed of white, orange, and green, and I agree. Sometimes you can get more colors in there depending on if there's some shading or variation, but this is perfectly fine. And what you'll notice is when you zoom in, look how much cleaner these lines are. So if I'm going to be printing this on a backdrop or even big banners and that sort of thing, just having it vectorized, even if I don't plan on manipulating the vector in a program like Illustrator, the fact that it is vectorized means that when I blow this up, it will have much better resolution. So I'm going to go ahead. I have a subscription here, but I believe you have 1 free time or maybe 2 free times where you can download per day from this website of Vector. And I'm just showing you my settings down here. So if you want to make sure you have the exact same settings, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and download now. All right, and I'm just going to call this one my Mustang logo vector. All right. And then that way, when I blow it up, because it's a smaller version of this image, I don't know if this is how I'm going to want to see it. So just to keep it clean, I did go ahead and enlarge it. So I'll turn off this mascot. Let's bring in our vector version of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the inside here. I'm going to do Control D to select only the contiguous part here. I'm going to turn off everything and just choose a solid color. It already had orange selected as my secondary color there, so that's perfectly fine. And then I want to add a stroke here. And the stroke I want to be the primary color. And if I want to add an additional stroke, this is really powerful because you can't do this in Canva. I can add another stroke, and then that stroke could be white. Make it a little bit bigger than the previous stroke. And then I can add a drop shadow here just to make it look like it's kind of popping out a little bit there. And now from the original logo, I have a logo variation. All right, and again, if I want everything to be centered, I'm going to select the thing that I want to center, which is this color fill layer. I'll do Control A to center and center. Then I'll save it with Control S, close out of it with Control W to close that window. Now this one already had a drop shadow on it, so if I want to, I can take off the drop shadow inside of here. I go into my effects and turning off the drop shadow. That way my drop shadow stays consistent on this layer. And that is a very easy, that's going to be a 5-minute flip for y'all, okay? As long as you have all your elements pulled together, things that you want to use for this, this is going to be a very easy design file. Now, what I want to do at this point is go ahead and make a pattern out of what I have here. So I'll go to Edit and Define Pattern. And I'm going to name this one 325 Green Grad. And once I have that defined, I'm going to go ahead and create a pattern here. It's going to fill with the default pattern. If I scroll all the way to the end, I see the pattern that I created. And I'm going to test it by making it 50% just to see what that looks like. Beautiful, 25%. Now you get the idea. All right, so I'm going to leave it at 50% just so you all remember that that is there. So again, this is what it looks like without utilizing the pattern at any different scale. That's 100% scale. This is what the pattern looks like at 50% scale. Now I want to show you how you prepare this for a final print, okay? We've already created the pattern here. I'm going to go ahead and save this work so that I know for a fact that my whole project is saved. Now, ideally, this is what you want your design to look like. This is where the idea came from. This is a very, very trendy backdrop right now. And of course, you can use this for events, for book signings, for also, of course, for the college signing day. You can use this for corporate events. It's a version of Step and Repeat that has a little more flair to it. All right, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and save this. Then I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to go to File, New. And I'm going to make sure that it's 96 inches by 96 inches. And make sure it says inches here and not pixels. So we'll call it and we'll do 150 resolution. It's going to be RGB. I have a transparent background, and then the color profile is my sRGB. And what I'm going to do while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and name this file. It's going to be 96 by 96. And this is going to be the backdrop. So that means it's an 8 foot by 8 foot backdrop. So when I put 96 by 96, people will know that that's the inches dimensions. And I'm going to put pattern. And then I'll put this as my green grad. Of course, if you have a name of a school, or how you want to put like your order, maybe you want to put the order number in the file name, that's perfectly fine too. Let's go ahead and create that. Beautiful. Now all I have to do is come down here to the bottom. These are your adjustment layers or adjustments here. And I'm going to go with a pattern. Go to the bottom, select our new pattern. And for right now, I'm just going to hit OK. And one thing that I want you to do is use an image for reference. So for instance, I'm going to go grab my grad, and I know that my grad is about 6 feet tall, 6 feet something, right? So in my mind, I want to make sure that I have an image in there just to see, is this the scale that I want my pattern to be in the background? So at this moment, the scale is at 100%. And then I'll go ahead and bring this scale over here too so you all can see. Just kind of using this one as reference as well. This is probably not an 8 foot backdrop here. It may be 8 foot by 8 foot and they just have it cropped in. But notice how many tiles they have going across the top is significantly more than ours. So what I can do is change the scale to maybe 70%, and that looks about right. And it's your design, it's your play. So you do this how you want to do it. Like I said, use a reference image just to see, okay, well, how would that look? How many of those tiles would show if this 6 foot person was standing in front of it? If they're sitting in front of it, does it also significantly show some of the patterns here? Now, what I also like to do for this is I don't like for my pattern to start right on the edge because I know there's going to be some type of seaming done. There's going to be some kind of cutting done. So what I will do is I will pull it, and I don't know if you all know you can do this, but you can pull the pattern while you're in it to adjust the placement. And I know the top usually needs a little bit more of a bleed area because I usually fold it back and create that little pole pocket. So I'm fine with that much coming down and this amount on the side. So this looks good to me. Now, of course, you're not going to send this to your printer as a Photoshop file or TIFF file or anything. So I'm just going to go ahead first and save it because this is my editable file. So I'm just going to put edit there and save it. Now this is my editable file. What I want to do is create a printable file from here. So from here, I will go to File, and I can save a copy. And I'll go ahead and save this instead of edit. I'm going to put print, and I'm going to put 150 ppi just so that I know that that's my resolution. And instead of a TIFF, I'm going to save it as a JPEG, or you can save it as a PNG if it has a transparent background that you want to preserve. Now I'll go ahead and save that. And for my editable version, if I want to make the file smaller, I'm going to let this finish saving down here. I'll go to image, image size, and I'll change this to 150, from 150 to 15. Now this is not how I print. This is just because I'm going to save this file and make it I'm going to preserve the space on my computer. And when I save this, I'm going to do a save as just so that you see the difference. I'm going to save this one as preview, and it will be, instead of 150 ppi, it'll be 15 ppi. That way it will remind me, do not send this to my printer if it's at a preview size. I'm just going to hit OK there. Now, when you get ready to create a PNG of this, all you have to do is go to image, image size. Turn that back to 150. You do Control 0, and because the pattern that you're using is already saved, then you should still have your high resolution image. Okay, so then I'll do a file, save a copy. And then of course from here, instead of a preview, this will be a print, 150 PPI. And I'm just gonna put this with a 2 at the end so you can see. It should have the same print resolution and also same print and file size here. All right, so here I'm gonna go view and large icons. Actually, let's view the details. Because what I want you to see is that these TIFF files can be huge. This is almost a whole gig, okay? And notice that these are basically the same size when I did the 150 PPI. It's huge. However, when I have the preview size, let me pull this out just a little bit more so you can see. Look how much smaller that is. It's only 40 gigabytes versus 900 gigabytes. That is a huge difference in file size. So if I was saving files on my computer, I would save them at the preview size, y'all. I would edit them pretty much at the preview size. And then that way, once I'm ready to create the final version of it, I'm not slowing down my computer while I'm editing. It can preserve those details and it will allow me to print this at full size whenever it is ready for me to turn it into a JPEG or a PNG. All right, and then keep in mind too, this file right here, the 150 PPI JPEG, that is a smaller file size because we took that TIFF and we flattened it. It has no layers, it has no memory outside of that one single flattened layer. And this is what I would send to my printer. So that's the reason why I put the print. And then for this one, oops, I meant to do, when I save the copy, I meant to change this one to a JPEG so we could observe that file size. And then I'm still going to put a 2 at the end. I'll put a 3 at the end just so it doesn't confuse me. And it looks like that's still saving. Let's give it a moment. All right, and you see that it is still the exact same size, even though I took it from that little 15 PPI, then I made it bigger. But that is because the method that I just showed you, I already did the high level work when I created my pattern. So if you go and create a tiny little pattern and you don't do the steps that I showed you from the template, then when you go to blow this up to be the size of an 8-foot or 10-foot or even a 20-foot backdrop, you're going to see that your image was very low resolution and it is not going to look good as a big backdrop. But that's it for today, my loves. I hope that you all join me in our live Photoshop classes. This is actually a summary of the live class that we did this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do a live class where you produce the results and you get help in real time and you get to share your screen if you get stuck. So this is not the typical Zoom classes where you may have seen before where you just watch somebody else's screen. This is where we pull you out the mud, draw on your screen. If we have to, we can even drive the boat and take over the mouse. So I just want you to know that we have a support group and the type of classes where you can get that hands-on learning, or you can purchase each file and you can watch the videos at your own pace and your own time, or you can join the membership and you get 4 live AI classes every month, 4 live Photoshop classes every month, and 4 additional Photoshop templates and classes that unlock every single month. So if you're interested in that, please be sure to check out Innate Academy, and the link is in the description. That's all for tonight, loves. I appreciate you and I love you dearly. And until next time, bye.